In this episode, we're going to look at a troubleshooting challenge. I'll show you how to do it, and we'll talk about the concepts along the way. After an update to the network, some devices were misconfigured. What we have to do is correct the configurations and verify that all PCs can access the web server, R1, and the switches. In addition, all PCs should be able to access the router using SSH. We should verify connectivity for both IPv4 and IPv6, except IPv6 on the switches. We'll be discussing troubleshooting common issues on the LAN. Greetings to all my tech heads out there in the KevTechify nation, and if you're new here, welcome. This episode is part of my series on configuration examples for the CCNA. I'm Kevin here at KevTechify. Let's get this adventure started. Troubleshooting challenge. Here in the Packet Tracer lab on the left side, I have the main lab open up. This is our topology. This is where we're going to do all our configuration and troubleshooting. On the right side, I have the Packet Tracer window open. In this Packet Tracer, there's no answers to fill out. There's no fields to fill out. I don't have the Word document open. I just have the regular Packet Tracer window open at this point in time. We have our addressing table up here. These are the addresses of all of our devices, all of our configurations. As you can see here, we have several networks, 3 PCs, 3 switches, a couple routers. We have our ISP cloud in there, and we have our web server. The objective is to troubleshoot common issues in a LAN. Here's the scenario. After an update, some devices were misconfigured. Whoever did your update, they didn't do a very good job. So now you have to come in, correct configurations, and verify that all PCs can access the web server. That's way on the other side, the ISP. They can access R1 and the switches. In addition, all PCs should be able to access R1 using SSH. All 3 of these PCs should be able to SSH into R1. You should verify connectivity for both IP version 4 and IP version 6, except for the switches. IP version 4 and IP version 6, except for the switches. And what I take that to mean here is you need to verify connectivity for IP version 4 and IP version 6, except you don't have to verify IP version 6 for the switches. On the switches, you have to do IP version 4, just not IP version 6. Here's our instructions. Router R1 and all the switches have been pre-configured with the following passwords: enable password, console password, and then a username and password for SSH of admin1 and admin1 5PAA. Here's the required number of hosts. If all the configuration problems have been fixed, all devices should be able to ping each other and the web server. Okay, let's start off the process. I'm going to scroll up so I can see my addressing table. Basically, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick one PC and I'm going to start pinging it. My process is I'm going to ping what's closest to me and then work out a device at a time further and further away from the PC I'm working on. I'm going to go ahead and pick the IT PC that's up in the left corner. Why did I pick it out? I don't know. Upper left. I could very easily just as pick out any of these other PCs, but I'm going to go ahead and pick out the IT PC. I'm going to slide that over. I make it a little bit bigger just because that's the way I do it. Click on command prompt. I'm going to use ping, and that ping will allow me to see what's working, what's not working at the layer 3. As soon as I find something not working, I'm going to go ahead and use traceroute to see where that ping actually breaks. Looking here, first thing I'm going to do is I'm actually going to ping myself. That's as close as you can get. See, if anybody's talking to me, it'd be nice if I would at least talk to myself, but we'll see. Here on our addressing table, here is the IT information. IT information right there. I'm going to go ahead and ping our IP version 4 address for IT. Ping 172.16.1.1. Well, I can't even ping myself. We're not off to a good start. Timing out. We shouldn't have to do any ARP requests because, like I said, we're pinging ourselves. And let's get the third timeout, and finally wait a couple more seconds, give us a fourth timeout, I'm guessing. And there it is, all 4 timed out. We can't even ping ourselves. Let's go ahead and check our IP configuration. That is ipconfig, all one word, no spaces here in Windows. Here is our information. IP version 4 has us an IP address of 192.168.1.1. Our IP address should be 172. We got 192.168 instead of 172.16, so I'm going to have to go in and change that. Default gateway also is set wrong. 192.168.1.162. Here we have 172.16.1.2. The addressing table is correct, and so we need to change the ITPC. I'm going to close the command prompt here on our PC. That is the X on the right side, the blue line. Go ahead and click that. That'll allow me to go into my IP configuration window. Here in the IP configuration window, under IP addressing, this is our IP address. This is what we need to change. We need to change it to 172.16.1.61. Oh, did something there. 172.16.1.1. We need to make sure we have the correct subnet mask. It's a /26. If we remember, a /26 is 255.255.255.192. We need to go in and change that from the custom subnet mask because that was 3255.192. And then our default gateway. Default gateway is 172.16.1.62. 172.16.1.62. There we go. DNS server, we can leave that alone. That looks fine. Let's check our IP address 6 information as long as we're here. 2001 DB8 CAFE :2 with a link local address of FE80::2 and default gateway of FE80::1. That all looks good. I'm going to go ahead, close the IP configuration window, open up our command prompt again, and now I'm going to go ahead and ping myself 172.16.1.1. Now, I know I just said it, but I like to ping myself just to make sure I didn't put a wrong number in there. I didn't invert it. I didn't switch the 1 and the 6 and the second octet or something like that. That all worked. Excellent. Now, next thing out for me is S1. I'm going to go ahead and ping S1 right here. We have the information for S1, 172.16.1.62. Go ahead, ping that, ping 172.16.1.61. If we do notice, oh, there it is, it worked. We had the ARP request. That timed out our first ping, and then the next 3 worked. If I do run that command again, up arrow once and hit enter, all 4 will work. So I am able to connect into switch 1 successfully. Then, looking at our diagram, I went from switch 1, I'm going to the next one out. I'm going to go to our router 1 interface. I clicked in the window here to make sure it was active. I'm going to mouse over the green triangle closest to the router. That is gig 00. So on router 1, I'm going to ping gig 00. If we come to our addressing table right here, router 1, gig 00, 172.16.1.62, that is also our default gateway. So ping 172.16.1.62. There it is, and look at that, all 4 are working. Now, our instructions said we should be able to ping we should be able to ping all the switches, all the routers, and the web. We don't have to worry about main, or we don't have to worry about what's going on in our ISP cloud. I pinged the router 1. I'm going to go ahead and ping the web server. I'm going to see if that works. ping. Here's our web server, and that's 64.100.0.3. 64.100.0.3. And looks like we're going to get a first time out. Second, third, and fourth pings are working. Had to do an ARP request somewhere along the way. If I repeat that command, up arrow, hit enter, all four are working. That tells us the configuration for IPv4 from the IT PC all the way to the web server is good. I'm going to come back. I'm going to repeat that whole process, but I'm going to use the IPv6 addresses. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to ping myself just to make sure I have it configured right. Down here, this is the IPv6 address. Ping 2001:db8 CAFE ::2. Oh, and I did type it in wrong. I can see I'm missing a colon array. I'm going to hit Control C. That's just going to end it out. Up arrow, come back over, let arrow left. Put in my colon. Now try it. There we go. I am pinging my own IPv6 address, and that worked. Next step, they said we don't have to worry about IPv6 on the switch. That takes us to the router over here. Once again, I clicked in the window to make sure it was activated, moused over this triangle. That was gig 00. Gig 00 IP address is right here. I'm going to go ahead, type in ping, then our address, EB8 :CAFE :1. 4 successful pings. That worked for us. And finally, we don't have to worry about main or ISP. I'm going to ping the IPv6 address of the web server, which is down here. And I'm only pinging the global unicast addresses. The link local address, FE80, I guess I could ping it on my local LAN. That would be the only one where it go, because it's a link local address starting with FE80. Any of these other ones, my router would not forward. Let's go ahead and ping the IP global unicast address on the web server. Ping 2001:db8 :ACAD :3. There we go. We have 4 successful pings. And to make sure that our connection to our default gateway or the link local address on the router works, I'm going to go ahead and ping that address also. Ping FE80 ::1. And that works successfully also. We have verified and confirmed everything from the ITPC to switch 1 to R1 through main, through ISP to the web server. IPv4, IPv6 works. What I'm now going to do is work my way to the marketing PC and work my way to the R&D computer. ITPC can ping S1, R1. Now I'm going to try and ping S2. Once again, no, it's going a step at a time. Going a step at a time. S2 IP address ping, and the S2 IP address is right here in the chart, 172.16.1.125. 172.16.1.125. Okay, it looks like we're going to time out once. Maybe we're doing an ARP request. And we're coming, waiting. Oh, there's a second one. Another timeout. Not looking good here. Something might be wrong. Third failure. Let's see if we get our fourth failure. And we're waiting, and there it is. We failed 4 times. We can ping from PCIT through switch 1 to R1, but we can't go from R1 to S2. I can make this connection. I can't get to S2. Maybe it's this IP address right here. We're going to have to probably go in and look at it. So I'm going to click on R1 here in a second. I clicked in the window to make sure it was activated. I'm going to mouse over this to look and see what connection is. This is gig 01 on R1. We're going to have to go and confirm that that's actually working. I'm going to go ahead, open up R1. We're in the CLI here. Enter. Oh, we got passwords here. Enable console password is Cisco Con PA55. Cisco Con PA55. Logs us in from, that was our console password. Now we type enable to get in privileged exec mode. Once again, down here is our enable password, Cisco ENPA55. Cisco ENPA55. There we are. Notice our prompt has changed. At this point in time, I'm going to do a show IP interface brief. Gives us a nice snapshot of what's happening. Scrolling up here on R1, here is our addressing information. Let's take a look at that. We are concerned here about the gig 00 interface. It should be 172.16.1.126. 172.16.1.126. Over here, our gig 01 interface is the 192.168 again. Got that typed in wrong. Have to go in and change our IP version 4 address on gig 01. Let's look at our gig 02 address right away while we're here. 172.16.1.254. That's what we have. We need to go in and change our IP version 4 address. Once again, to change an IP version 4 address in the Cisco iOS, all you do is retype the IP address command and it overwrites that address. Okay. Once again, that was on interface space G01. Oh, I gotta get into global configuration mode first. Now interface G01. There we go. We are now in interface configuration mode. Changing the IP address, we just enter in the IP address command with the correct one. So IP address. Our correct address is back in our addressing table, 172.16.1.126. 172.16.1.126. And I forgot our subnet mask. Here, from our addressing table, this gives us a /26. If we remember, the /26 is a 255.255.255.192. 3 255s followed by a .192. 255.255.255.192. We set our address, exit out. We should be good. I'm going to go ahead and minimize that. Open up our IT PC. I'm going to repeat that last command. I was trying to ping S2. S2's IP address is right here. 172.16.1.125. I'm going to go ahead and ping that. 172.16.1.125. Time out once. Time out twice. Third and fourth time work. If I repeat the command, we have 4 successful ones. Apparently it took 2 pings to do all the ARP requests to get it to work, but now we have successfully pinged S2. Let's go ahead. There's no IP version 6, so we don't have to worry about that on that address. And now we have to ping the marketing PC. I'm going to go ahead and close that. Over here, here's our marketing PC information. Here's the IP version 4 address. We'll ping that one, and then we'll ping the global global unicast IP version 6 address as long as we're there. First, the IP version 4 address, 172.16.1.1. Right? Nope, wrong address. 172.16.1.65. That's 65 at the end. I'm guessing we'll have to do at least 1 ARP request, maybe a couple. One ping failed for an ARP request. There's 3 successful. I'll repeat that command. All 4 work. I'm going to go ahead and ping the IP version 6 address. 2001 DB8 colon CAFE colon 1 colon 2, and pinging that address works successfully. That allows the IT PC, to ping the marketing PC on IP version 4 and IP version 6. Now I'm going to take the IT PC and ping the R&D computer. The IT PC to the R&D computer. R&D computer, here's their address. Go ahead and ping that. Ping 172.16.1.129. I'm thinking it's going to take 1 or 2 ARP requests, 1 or 2 failures, and then it should work. There we go. I'm going to repeat that command. Make sure we get 4 successful. IP version 4 works. Let's ping the IP version 6 of the R&D computer. That is 2001 DB8 colon CAFE colon 2 colon 2. IP version 6 address on R&D. We're timing out. IP version 6 does not have to do an ARP request to do a ping. That leads me to believe there is a problem with IP version 6 somewhere along the path. Now, because I have a problem, I'm going to go ahead and issue the traceroute command. That's TRACERT on Windows. And then I'm going to put the IP version 6 address in there. 2001 colon DB8 colon CAFE colon 2 colon 2. Made it successfully to our first router. So the IT PC made it to R1, but now we are not getting to the R&D computer. That leads me to believe there's probably something wrong with the IP version 6 settings on the R&D computer. We're timing out. Let's get one more confirmation on the timeout. Once again, looking at this traceroute statement, successfully it got to this address, which is the IP version 6 address on our default gateway, which is right here, G00 interface on R1. Successfully got there, but then it can't get to R&D. I'm going to try the R&D settings. I'm going to see what that looks like. Go ahead, click on the R&D computer. Make it a little bit bigger. Open up my command prompt and type in ipconfig. ipconfig, all one word, no spaces. There we go. This gives me all the IP version 4 information. I have to put ipconfig space / all if I want to see the IP version 6 information. Here we go. And as we can see here, we are looking at our information. We have no IP version 6 information. We have the link local address, but that's it. We have a DHCP client user ID, but that's not our IP version 6 address. We need to go in and actually look at our settings. I'm going to go ahead and close the command prompt window. That's the X on the right side, the blue line. Click on IP configuration. Look over here, IP version 6 on the R&D computer. IP version 6 address is 2001 DB8 ACAD. Oh, look at this. Here we go. DB8 CAFE colon 2 colon 2. I'm missing an extra colon 2 in here. I'm going to go ahead, put that in there. /64 is right. The link local address FE80 colon 2. That looks right. FE80 colon 1 is my default gateway. That is looking correct. I'm going to go ahead, close that window, minimize the R&D computer. I'm going to go back to the IT PC because that's where we pinged from and that failed. I'm going to go ahead, enter in that address again of the IP version 6 address of R&D. ping space 2001 colon db8 colon cafe colon 2 double colon 2. And now that works. IP version 4 address to the R&D computer is working, and IP version 6 address to the R&D computer is working. To recap what we've done, the IT PC is able to ping all the devices IP version 4 and IP version 6 that it's supposed to ping. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and go on S1 here and see if they can ping all the devices they need to ping. I open up S1, command prompt here. Oh, we have to log in. That was capital CISCO CON PA55. Logs us in. Type in enable to get into privileged exec mode. That password once again was capital CISCO EN PA55. We are in there. And now I'm just going to go ahead and start pinging some devices. I'm going to ping the IT PC. And once again, we don't have to worry about IP version 6 on the switches, so I'm just going to ping the IP version 4 addresses. I'm going to ping the IT PC 172.16.1.1. Ping 172.16.1.1. 5 exclamation marks in the Cisco iOS, that's a good thing. It tries 5 pings. Exclamation points are good things. Periods, decimal points, those mean it's timed out. And if you get a capital U, that means destination unreachable. Right now we got 5 exclamation points. That is good. I'm going to go ahead and ping our default gateway. Default gateway right here is gig 001. Or sorry, gig 00 on R1. That would be right here. Go ahead, ping 172.16.1.62. We had 4 successful, 1 failed. I'm assuming that was an ARP request, so I'm going to repeat that command. Just hit up arrow once, hit enter. There we are. We have 5 successful pings. Next thing, and that was the IP address right here. Next thing I'm going to do is ping S2. Ping. Here's S2's information. 172.16.1.125. 172. Oh, hang on. Ping 172.16.1.125. That works successfully also. Ping the marketing PC. I spelled ping right first. Marketing's PC is 172.16.1.65. 5 successful pings. I have to go down to the S3. S3's IP address is right here. I'm going to go ahead and ping that. Ping 172.16.1.253. Two failed, 3 worked. Try it again. All 5 worked. Must have been an ARP request or 2 for that first ping when I tried it. And finally, let's ping the R&D computer. Ping 172.16.1.129. And we have 5 pings. Last thing I'm going to ping here is the web server, just to make sure that works. Ping 172. Oh, no. Web server's not 172. 64.100.03. Okay, ping 64.100.0.3. And that works fine. Successfully ping that 5 times. Okay, I'm just going to go and probably ping the default gateway on the rest of these devices and then ping the web server. Click on the marketing PC, slide that over, command prompt, ping my default gateway on the marketing PC. That would be this piece or IP address right here, 172.16.1.126, 172.16.1.126. 4 successes there, and then I'm going to ping the web server. Ping, and here's my web server IP address once again. 64.100.0.3. Oh, I got to click in the window. Sorry about that. 64.100.0.3. That works, and I'm going to ping the IP version 6 address of that. So ping space 2001:db8 :ACAD::3. That works. I'm going to jump on the switch 2, get into the command line here. Console password of capital CISCO, then it's CON for console, and then it's the word pass for password, but it's PA55. So capital CISCO CON PA55. If you still have problems with that, it's right down here in the lab. We have those passwords here. Okay, so go ahead. Oh, I probably got to hit enter. There we are. We logged in. Type in enable to get in privileged exec mode. Hit enter. Capital CISCO, and then EN for enable, and then PA55 pass for password. We are in at that point in time. I'm going to go ahead and ping my default gateway on S2. That is right here, 172.16.1.126. 172.16.1.126. Successful. And I'm going to ping my web server. Ping 172.16.1. Oh, wrong IP address. I'm pinging the web server. Hang on. Ping 64.100.0.3. That all worked just fine. I'm going to get on the R&D computer and ping my default gateway and the web server. Open up my command prompt, hit enter, give me a clear working area, ping my default gateway for the R&D computer down here, 172.16.254, 172.16.1.254. That's working beautifully, and then we're going to ping our web server, both the IPv4 address and the IPv6 address. 64.100.0.3. And ping 2001:db8 :ACAD::3. And that works successfully. I'm going to go ahead and close that. Over here, open up my S3, ping my default gateway. Of course, we have to log in. Capital CISCO CON PA55. Enable to get into privileged exec mode. Password is capital CISCO CON PA55. Oh, one more time. Capital CISCO COEN PA55. Okay, we are in. I'm going to ping my default gateway. S3's default gateway is right here, 172.16.1.254. 172.16.1.254. That works, and ping the web server, 64.100.0.3. And ping the IPv6 address, 2001:db8 :ACAD::3. And ping. Oh, we don't have IPv6 on the switches, so it's not going to recognize it as a protocol running. That's the error I got. And so all I have to do is check IPv4 address, and that works successfully. Here we are. Okay, last thing we have to check. In addition, all PCs should be able to access R1 using SSH. Okay, R1, SSH. Here's the IT PC. I'm going to go ahead and close the command prompt. That's the X on the right side of the blue line. If I scroll down in this window, once again, I made this a little bit bigger left to right. If I scroll down, we are looking for the Telnet SSH client. Go ahead and find that, click on that. It's going to say we're using SSH, host name or IP address. We will give it the IP address here of the G00 connection on router 1. G00 connection here. 172.16.1.62, 172.16.1.62, and then our username. In the instructions, it gave the username as admin1, capital ADMIN, and the number 1, and click connect. The current session is closed. Do you want to reestablish with the previous server session? Okay, so I'm clicking yes. Okay, let's try this one more time. IP address of 172.16.1.62 and username capital ADMIN1 admin1. Go ahead and click connect, and session is terminated. Closed, reestablished. I've done this twice. I'm confident at least one of those times I said it in there. Let's go ahead and I guess we're gonna have to look at R1 and see what's going on. Click on R1. You have to log in again. Password of capital CISCO CONPA55. Log me in. Get into privilege exec mode. Enable. Enter. Password of capital CISCO ENPA55. We are in there. Let's go ahead and do a show run. Look at our configuration. Start over. Looking here, we have some output. This is looking good. Notice we have password lengths, we have password encryption, but we're looking for stuff dealing with SSH. Looking through here, we have no IP and domain lookup. We have an IP domain. That's part of what we need here for SSH. We have our IP addresses, interfaces are up, IP addresses all looking good, serials are up, no IP addresses there. Line VTY, login local set up. Oh, our transport input is set to SSH. The other thing we didn't see is that admin user. Down here in the instructions say admin user and password for SSH. They say that's been set up, but I'm not seeing it. I'm going to scroll back up here looking for any users set up. I am not seeing any users. Okay, looks like two things we have to do. We have to add in the user, admin1, and then we have to change our transport for our VTY from Telnet to SSH. Okay, we are in privilege exec mode. We need to go into global configuration mode. Config T, we're there. Now at this point we can add in our user. Once again, the instructions are right here, or the credentials are right here, what we should be doing. Global configuration mode, we start with username as the main command. Then we specify what the username is, capital ADMIN1. You put a space, and then it's either secret or password, the option words. We want to put secret, that way it encodes the password, so if anybody sees our running configuration, they don't know what our password is. And then our password is capital ADMIN1PA55. Just verify that, make sure it's right one more time. Capital ADMIN, capital, or sorry, number 1. I'm going to start that all over. Capital ADMIN1PA55. Yep, that looks right. And the last thing we have to do is change our input on our VTY lines. Remember right here it says transport is Telnet. We need to change that to say SSH right here. Let's go ahead into line configuration for our virtual terminals. That's line space VTY, and then once again we have to put that range in there, 0 space 4. And now we have to change the transport here from Telnet to SSH. We just have to enter in that command again with the right transport on it. So transport space input space, and then we put SSH right there. Hit enter. Exit out. Exit out. Let's go ahead, close this out. See if we can now telnet in from the IT PC. We are going into the G00 IP address again. Go ahead, enter that in, 172.16.1.62. Username of capital ADMIN1. Click connect. Now it's actually asking us for a password. Okay, our password is right here in the instructions. It is capital ADMIN1PA55. There it is. We are logged in, even with our message of the day banner. We can type enable at this point in time to get into privilege exec mode. That's our normal password to get into privilege exec mode, capital CISCOENPA55, and we are in there. And the last thing we need to go in and do is verify our IP address settings on our VLANs. I'm going to go ahead and log in here. Console password, capital CISCOCONPA55. There we go. Enable gets us into privilege exec mode. Password of capital CISCOCONPA55. One more time, capital CISCOENPA55. Capital CISCOENPA55. There we go. I typed it in wrong twice. We can do a show run to look at our settings for our VLANs. Make sure all that information is right. Interface VLAN, IP address of 172.1.161, 172.16.1.161 with a /26. If you remember, a /26 is a .192. That's looking good. I'm going to go ahead and close this. Get into switch 2. Hit enter. Our password for our console is capital CISCOCONPA55. Type enable to get into privilege exec mode. Capital CISCOENPA55. We are in there. Let's do a show run. Take us down to VLAN 1 here. IP address of 172.16.1.125. Yep, that's right, with a /26. And if you remember, a /26 is 255.255.255.192. Here, our subnet mask. Oh, our subnet mask is different. We need to go in and change that. We need to go in and configure that. Okay, take us down there. Config T gets us into global configuration mode. Interface VLAN 1 gets us into that. Now to change the IP address or subnet mask for an IP version 4 address, we just type that in again. IP address, and it overwrites that. We have 172.16.1.125, and once again that was 3255.192. I got to put an extra 5 in there. I missed the 5. Hit enter. Exit out. Exit out. And let's check S3. S3 right here. CIS, or hang on, start over, capital CISCOCONPA55. Enable to get into privilege exec mode, capital CISCOENPA55. Show run. For some reason I clicked out of the window. Show run. Take us down to VLAN 1, 172.16.1.253. Right there, /25. /25 is a .128 in the 4th octet. That all looks good. At this point, I believe we're done. We can confirm that by looking here. We are at a completion of 100%. Oh, we terminated it. Would you like to start a new session with Telnet. It's just giving us, it's at a certain time, it just times out. No, let's not. I clicked no on it, it went away. But getting back here, bottom of the packet tracer activity window, it says completion of 100%. We can go ahead and click on check results, assessment. We have all green check marks there. We have that set. That was Packet Tracer Labs 17.8.3 Troubleshooting Challenge. It was my pleasure to provide you with this wonderful episode on configuration examples. If you like this episode and you got value out of it, please click that like button, give a 5-star rating, leave a comment. This all helps me bring you more great content. Please take a minute to subscribe to my channel. All my socials and contact information are on my website, KevTechify.com. There you can find out how to get all these episodes in video and podcast form. Thank you so much for watching this episode of my series on practical configuration examples for the CCNA. I've created 4 wonderful playlists for you on the CCNA. These episodes, I go through all the concepts that Cisco calls out for the CCNA. Once again, I'm Kevin. This is KevTechify. I'll see you next time for another great adventure.